Hi guys and welcome to my newest video. Today we're going to assemble my Heineken bottle. This is the new version of my bottle because I previously made the same model where I used a monoprint. So this is a multicolor print for the H2C or for the U1 or something similar. We don't have so much waste. So this is the new version, and the old version had a relief. This one here has all the structure embedded, and as I said, it's multicolor because the mono version, my previous version, you had to paint it yourself, and this is really a multicolor print where all the letters and also the star and all the signs here are embedded into the surface, and it's no more relief here. So this is new, and yeah, when you printed all the parts, you can start with the assembly. But before you start with the assembly, I want to show you some things. So first, I used those wooden rods here. I ordered them. They are, I think, 30 millimeters, and you first have to cut them off. You can saw them, but I used this here to just cut them off. But please make sure that you wear glasses because maybe some of the wood maybe can jump to your eye. So please prevent that. Then make sure that the rods are cut to 245 millimeters. Say you see it here. So yeah, you shouldn't use less, you shouldn't use more, because then you may run into problems. And after you cut them, may sand them a bit, just use a sandpaper and do this here, and then it will be more simple to get them on. So there's a tolerance, but there could be some wood which is just coming out here, and this may prevent you from getting them on. So yeah, just make that sure and sand them a bit. And then after you've done all that, we can start with the assembly. It's pretty simple. First, make sure that, because you could use it also here, but this is wrong. So make sure that you have two complete blank tiles at the end. This one here is a little bit rounded, and just use one blank tile at the top, because otherwise the mechanism is not working. This is also a bit rounded, so you can just compare them, and you will see this one's for the top and this one's for the bottom, so you can't make any mistakes here. Just make sure that there are two tiles at the bottom and one tile on the top. And then you also, or I separated the middle tiles or the back tiles here, because you see there's one for the top and one for the bottom. These are also a little bit rounded, and all the others are, it doesn't matter how you use them, because you use everyone between the top and the bottom of them, and so this there can't be made any mistakes here. So just use those for the middle and those for the top and the bottom. Okay, when you start with gluing the rods to the base plate, and then start with the bottom back part. You see I didn't glue it because you do not need to glue it at the very beginning. You can also do it at the end, because with every tile coming more to the rods, it's getting also more stable, and then you can also glue it at the end. So now insert the tiles here, make sure that you snap them into the base, and then just go on layer by layer. Maybe I will speed up that in the video. So these rods are not completely straight, I think, so also make sure that you choose the rods from the package which are the best ones, because otherwise the assembly can be a little bit more difficult. But also when they're not completely straight, it's no big deal, so it's also working. So we go on and on and on. I think this is a little bit boring for you, but yeah, as I said, maybe I will speed up that in the final video. By the way, this is the first time assembly, because I printed it a second time with the new filament. So this is another green, because I had the problem that in my prototype I ran out of green, and then I used a different green, and that was not so nice. And what I see here right now is that there's a little bit of warping. So this doesn't matter here because it's on the back side, so yeah, you don't have to care about that. said, you will recognize that it's getting more and more stable with every new layer. Okay. And the last one, top. Yeah. And then also use a little bit of glue and just complete the model this way here. Just push a bit. Seems like it just moved a little bit at the bottom. So as I said, you do not need to glue it at the beginning. Just make sure that it's stable and it won't fall apart anymore. Okay. So you see here, it seems like that I didn't match the 245 millimeters completely, so maybe it's a little bit more. Yeah, just in those cases, cut them off a little bit more or sand them at the top. That here, the top is also really connected. And then you see the final result. I will do it this way here. Just go to the middle and pull them apart, and then just check that everything went fine, because we are not using supports here. Maybe you have to clean it a little bit, but you shouldn't have any problems here. Just double check it before you glue it, because otherwise you may already glued it and it's not completely working because there's rests of filament. But this seems like everything is working perfectly. So thank you for watching. Have fun with the bottle. Happy printing, and see you later. Bye bye.